Yo, what's up, guys? Today we're breaking down UFC 327, Prochazka versus Olberg going down in Miami. And let's not waste time. We're jumping straight into the early prelims. First up, we've got Charles Radtke versus Francisco Prado. Honestly, I'm not really sold on Radtke as a favorite here. Confidence isn't super high, but look, here's the deal with Prado. The dude fights with basically zero fight IQ. He just goes out there, no real game plan, just swinging and hoping something lands. That's not the kind of guy I can trust. Radtke, on the other hand, bigger guy, knows how to slow fights down, kill the pace, make it ugly if he has to. It's not going to be pretty, but he should grind this one out. I'm taking Radtke by decision. Next up, Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. Let's keep it quick. Both guys are past their prime, but Luque looks like he's going through a much tougher stretch right now. Ever since those health issues, the brain stuff, he's been way more cautious, less chaos, more thinking in there. Can he get a knockout? I don't see it. Submission, maybe, but based on his recent fights, I'm not buying that either. Gastelum is just a bad matchup for him. Southpaw, solid boxing, knows how to find his range early and impose it. I feel like Kelvin's going to get comfortable way faster and just control the fight. I've got Gastelum winning a decision. He's just the better boxer. He's awkward, and that lefty stance is going to give Luque problems all night. Plus, Luque is moving up a weight class. Not ideal. Even if both guys were in their prime, I'd still lean Gastelum. And closing out the early prelims, Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. This one's tricky, not going to lie, but I'm rolling with Padilla. Here's why. I'm not super impressed with Medeiros' level of competition so far. Don't get me wrong. He's skilled, he's technical, got solid IQ, but this might be a bit too soon for him. Feels like he's not fully ready yet, especially if the pace gets pushed. I could see cardio becoming an issue for him in this fight. Padilla, to me, is just more well-rounded, better gas tank, more experience, more prepared for this kind of fight. He's going to push the tempo, make it messy, and I'm not sure Medeiros can keep up with that. So, yeah, I'm taking Chris Padilla in this one. That's it for the early prelims, and let's keep it moving. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next up, Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez. Let's be real here. Suarez is going to shoot takedowns over and over again. That's the whole game. I'm not convinced Lupi can deal with that level of grappling. And we're not just talking good wrestling. Suarez is elite, like top tier, different level. Can Lupi defend a bit? Sure. Can she survive? Maybe. But winning, I don't see it. This feels pretty straightforward. Tatiana controls the fight, racks up control time, and cruises to a decision win. Nothing fancy, just dominance. I'm taking Suarez. Easy pick. Now we've got Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. This one's interesting. On paper, Holland is more well-rounded. He's got more tools, more ways to win. But here's the problem. Motivation. Consistency. You never really know which Holland is going to show up. Randy Brown, on the other hand, feels more locked in right now, more focused, more hungry, striking. Honestly, Brown might even have the edge there. Grappling, that's Holland's lane for sure. But overall vibe of the fight, this is like a low-key version of Prochazka versus Olberg. Why? Because Holland is pure chaos. Unpredictable, wild, sometimes genius, sometimes just, what is he doing? Brown is the opposite. More structured, more disciplined, fights with a plan. And I'm almost always siding with the guy who's hungrier, smarter, and more dialed in. So yeah, I'm going with Randy Brown for the win. Next fight, Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. Listen, I feel like people are sleeping on Gamrot a bit too much here. Yeah, Ribovic is a prospect. Dangerous, has that knockout power, no doubt. And yeah, striking isn't really Gamrot's strongest weapon. But let's be honest, this fight is not staying on the feet. The gap in grappling, huge. The wrestling difference, massive. Gamrot is going to do what he always does. Takedown, control, rinse, and repeat, round after round. Could Ribovic land a knockout? Sure, there's always a chance, but is that more likely than Gamrot controlling him for at least 2 rounds? Not even close. Gamrot is the favorite for a reason. I've got Mateusz Gamrot winning by decision, smart, controlled performance. And closing out the prelims, Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Look, I picked Pitbull in his fight against Dan Ige because skill for skill, he's just better. But there are 2 big issues now, cardio and age. Let's be honest. His prime is behind him. Yeah, he can still beat veterans who are slowing down, guys outside the top 15, but Aaron Pico is a different story. Pico is young, explosive, aggressive, and crazy talented. This dude is dangerous, and honestly, it's time. Time for him to stop being the prospect and actually prove it. Because if he can't beat Pitbull at this stage, I'm not taking his title ambitions seriously anymore. This is a huge moment for him. He's got the power, the speed, the momentum, everything you need to make a statement. Pitbull is a legend, no doubt, but this feels like a generational shift. I'm taking Aaron Pico by knockout. All right, prelims done. Let's move on.
All right, let's get into the main card. Opening it up. Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. Man, this fight is basically Swanson versus Father Time. The dude is 42, fighting at featherweight. That's kind of wild, not gonna lie. Across from him, you've got Nate Landwehr. High pace, crazy cardio, just keeps coming forward all fight long. Straight workhorse. Honestly, if you're betting smart, you probably go with Nate and move on. But yeah, I'm biased here. I'm a fan of Cub Swanson, always been. Clean striker, super technical, fun to watch, just a legend of the game. But yeah, reality check. 42 years old in the UFC featherweight division? That's tough. That's really tough. So here's how I see it. Round 1. Swanson probably looks sharp, takes it. Round 2. Swing round, super important. Round 3. Most likely Nate just outworks him. This is a hard one to call, but you know what? I'm riding with the legend. Let's believe in one last run. I'm taking Cub Swanson. Oh my God, guys. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. We already know what's gonna happen here. This fight is not going the distance. Someone is getting knocked out, period. The only problem is, who? I have no clue, zero idea. This is a straight coin flip. Seriously, this is one of those fights where you're not analyzing, you're guessing. It's all about who shows up in worse shape, who makes the first mistake. I don't even think round 2 starts. All right, you know what? Let's make it official. I'm flipping a coin. Heads, Johnny Walker. Tails, Dominic Reyes. Flip, tails. I'm going with Dominic Reyes. Yeah, we might make this a thing on the channel. Pure 50-50 picks with a coin. Next up, heavyweight clash. Curtis Blades versus Josh Hokett. Man, Hokett is a funny dude. I saw the press conference. He low-key reminds me of Tyson Fury back in the day, just messing around, having fun. But let's be serious. You've got an undefeated prospect in Hokett, stepping in against Curtis Blades, a guy who's only lost to top-level killers. That's a massive jump in competition. Like, we're talking about going from low-level opposition straight into deep waters. That's dangerous. Yeah, Hokett is undefeated. Yeah, he's got potential, but I'm not buying it yet. Not at this level, not against someone like Blades. Too soon, way too soon. I'm taking Curtis Blades, pretty confident pick. Co-main event, Paulo Costa versus Azamat Murzakanov. This one's interesting. I feel like Costa might actually have the cardio edge here. Physically, he's not outmatched either. He's dangerous, we all know that. But I just can't trust him. Too inconsistent. You never know which version of Costa is going to show up. Murzakanov, on the other hand, is way more reliable. Solid, composed, knows how to win rounds. I think this fight will be close, not gonna lie. There's real intrigue here. But overall, I see Murzakanov taking at least 2 rounds. Costa might grab one, sure, but not enough. I'm going with Azamat Murzakanov. All right, main event coming up next.
All right, guys, quick timeout. I'm gonna go make some tea real quick. Yeah, this is a tea break, don't go anywhere. I'm back, let's lock in. Now let's talk about the main event.
Yeah! Carlos Black J.
All right, I'm back. And finally, let's talk about the main event. This fight is super intriguing to me. Look, I really like Prohaska. I'm a fan. But I gotta be honest, Carlos Ulberg feels like a straight up counter pick here. Stylistically, he's tricky for Yuri. Ulberg is kind of like Alex Pereira, kickboxer, super composed, patient, heavy hands. Maybe not that level, but still dangerous. Very dangerous. So the big question is, can Prohaska impose his game? And honestly, yeah, I think he can. But how effective is that going to be against someone like Ulberg? Because Carlos usually fights as the counter guy. He's waiting, reading, then boom, clean shot. And we all know Yuri fights wild, open, unpredictable, but hittable. So it really comes down to this. Is Ulberg on a high enough level to capitalize on those openings like Pereira did? Because yeah, Prohaska gets hit, but the only guy who actually put him down in the UFC is Pereira. That's what makes this fight so interesting. I feel like early on, Ulberg might look sharper, more accurate, landing the cleaner shots in round one. But as the fight goes on, Yuri is going to start turning it up. The pressure, the chaos, the weird angles, the non-stop movement. And honestly, how do you even prepare for that? Like, yeah, you can train for it, but you can't really replicate Prohaska. He's just different. So here's the thing. I actually think this is a good matchup for Ulberg, and something tells me he could pull it off. But as a fan, man, I want to see Yuri win. He's just such a unique fighter. The energy, the style, the whole vibe, it's different. So yeah, this is another coin flip tight fight. I see clear paths to victory for both guys. For Prohaska, it's pressure, pace, nonstop aggression. Cut off the cage, don't give Ulberg space, drag him into chaos. That's where Yuri thrives. For Ulberg, it's timing. Catching Yuri as he ramps up the pace, because those moments will be there. And if he lands clean, it could be over. I already used the coin earlier, so now I gotta make a real call. And yeah, this might not be the smartest pick, but I'm going with my gut here. I'm riding with Yuri Prohaska. This fight is gonna be crazy, super fun, super unpredictable. But let's be real, there's a very good chance it ends early. Cardio-wise, I'd give the edge to Yuri, especially over 5 rounds. Ulberg looks solid too. He can push a good pace for 3 rounds, no problem. But 5 rounds is a different story. And honestly, I doubt we even see round 5. If Ulberg doesn't get him out of there before round 4, I don't like his chances late. This is actually a perfect fight for live betting. The longer it goes, the better it is for Prohaska. So yeah, I'm taking Yuri. Enjoy the fights, guys.